Are you aware that the top 1% earn about double the amount as the rest of the world's population combined? That may be mind-boggling, but that's the reality. The richest people on Earth share a lot of traits, and without question, they lead very different lives from the majority of the population. The good news is that you are not required to be as rich as them to begin with and employ their strategies. Because of this, I'll share with you in this video some money management tips and how the rich handle their finances. Welcome to the Wealth Builder Den, your way to financial freedom. We'll help you make good investments and informed financial decisions to build your wealth. Subscribe to the channel. We'll share investment tips and tricks on how to save money and becoming wealthy. Don't forget to click the notification bell to be updated. This will help you avoid wasting any more money. Now, let's get straight into the videos. The first strategy is to plan a monthly budget. Planning a budget for each month's expenses is one way how the wealthiest people manage their finances. If they have enough money to pay for their needs, you could be curious as to why they have to establish a budget. Take Tesla's CEO Elon Musk, for example, the richest person on the planet with a net worth of $250 billion. He could go on with the rest of his life without worrying about money, even if he decides to spend $1 million per day. At this rate, it could take him almost 700 years to spend all of his enormous net worth. Although the wealthy don't typically spend their money so quickly, this scenario will help you realize why it is crucial for you to follow in the footsteps of the wealthy. I believe you should manage your monthly expenses if the wealthy and financially secure still do so. The top 1%, however, adhere to their budget rather than just having one. Just having a budget plan, as most individuals do, is insufficient. Maintaining your budget plan is more crucial. Making the necessary modifications is made easier for them when they have a budget to manage their expenditures. They have control over their finances and know how their money will be spent ahead of time through the use of a budget. The unfortunate truth is that a lot of folks who aren't wealthy, like the top 1%, don't consistently set or follow budgets. This frequently results in unnecessary financial stress, going overboard with expenditures, and taking on high-interest debt. Therefore, you should start planning your monthly costs so as soon as possible if you want to be like the rich. The second strategy involves assessing and managing the top 3 expenditures. You must have read the recommendation to reduce your expenditure if you've spent time learning about budgeting and achieving financial freedom. This is a sound recommendation. However, it also depends on what expenses you are reducing. You might be paying attention to things that don't really affect your budget like the majority of people do. No matter what stage of life you're in right now, your 3 major expenses will be food, accommodation, and transportation. These 3 often make up more than half of your overall spending. So if you want to learn how the top 1% handle their money, you need to figure out how to scrutinize and come to terms with such expenditures. Food costs contribute to one of the most significant expenditures. It goes without saying that you must eat, but you can make changes to your eating habits in an effort to reduce your expenses. For instance, cooking at home is typically far cheaper than eating out, so honing your cooking skills might result in some great savings. Additionally, having some plan before going grocery shopping can save a lot of money. You'll be able to cross items off of your shopping list more quickly if you do this, and you'll also be able to benefit from sales. Accommodation is usually the most expensive one. This must be established as soon as you can if you want to cut back on your monthly spending. Living in a more functional and smaller house, renting, or relocating to a city with cheaper accommodations are all options for lowering your living expenses. You can reduce or stop paying your existing mortgage payments by taking those actions, or you can use a tenant's cash payments to cover these expenses. Transportation costs are another significant expenditure of money. We all need to travel, and whether you take public transportation, your vehicle, or even a bicycle, there's always an expense associated with it. Since transportation expenses can certainly eat up a significant portion of your budget, learning how to handle it effectively is essential if you want to achieve financial freedom. Utilizing a bicycle to travel to your locations whenever possible is one easy approach to reduce this expense line item. Take the bus or train instead of your car or consider giving it away. Yes, this may temporarily inconvenience you a little bit, but the reduction in expenses will more than make up for it. The third strategy is prioritizing paying off your debts. One thing that can easily put you in a financial disaster is debt. If you've experienced having to repay debt, then you're probably aware of this. When you have debt, you must pay back creditors, which nearly always entails additional costs in the form of interest with money that could potentially have been saved or invested instead. However, let's not forget that not every debt has a similar effect on your money. One type of debt that you must make every effort to repay as soon as possible is consumer debt. These are obligations incurred as a result of buying products for personal or household use. You can almost easily comprehend consumer debt if you think of it as a debt that isn't used for business or investing purposes. Credit card debt, tuition loans or car loans, mortgages, and installment loans are just a few examples. The majority of consumer loans have high interest rates, which is a crucial factor why you should pay this form of debt immediately whenever you can. Your interest payment will increase in proportion to how long you wait to complete the payment. Contrary to popular belief, the top 1% still has debt. They utilize debt as a tool to take advantage to increase their financial status, but they pay off consumer debt in as little time as they can. The 1%'s primary strategy for managing their debt is to steer clear of getting into consumer debt in the first place. This is the most sensible course of action because, in the absence of debt, you would have no concern about making any repayments. The wealthy can achieve this by controlling their expenditure and sticking to their budgets. They can also make a plan to repay any debt they do have as soon as possible. They determine the amount of debt they have and make plans for how to pay it off. The ones with the highest interest rates are usually on top of the list to be repaid. Additionally, they always make the minimum payment due on their credit card as well as repay extra when possible. The fourth strategy is tax planning. The way the top 1% of the people organize their money, including their tax obligations, is another characteristic that sets them apart from the majority of the population. You might believe that the 1% pay higher taxes rates than the rest of the population and that taxes are anticipated to increase as income increases. However, this is not the case. They organize their tax payments and look into numerous strategies for paying less tax while taking into consideration the favorable aspects of the law that lessen their tax rate. One of the wealthiest persons alive, Warren Buffett, once claimed that because of the way he made money, he paid a lower tax rate than his secretary. This demonstrates that the top 1% have a greater understanding of good money management than everyone else. They work with the greatest financial experts who use their expertise to manage their money, enabling them to significantly reduce their tax obligations. They generate the majority of their income from investments and other sources, which enables them to pay taxes at a lower rate than people who earn their income from jobs. Separating their personal finances from those used for their businesses is another way they plan their tax payments. The majority of the top 1% are business owners or entrepreneurs who make money from their businesses, which is one of the reasons why they are able to pay less in taxes. The fifth strategy is maximizing credit card rewards. There is a lot of disagreement over if one should use credit cards when it comes to making purchases. Most people get into debt as a result of using credit cards carelessly. Credit card users typically struggle with high interest rates, upfront card fees, and the potential for developing an impulse buying addiction. Credit cards do offer some advantages though, and the top 1% of people have figured out how to take the most out of them. They can benefit from the advantages credit cards give because they are more careful with their money. You must first realize that the credit cards are not always bad. They can serve as a safety net in case you run out of cash, but you should only utilize them in this capacity if you have the funds in your bank account to handle the expense. The benefits of using credit cards wisely can be enormously profitable. In order to entice customers to use their cards, several credit card issuers offer benefits to their customers. The richest 1% are typically eligible for most of these advantages due to their maintaining a solid credit history by making on-time balance payments, and they typically come in 3 types of rewards: cashback, mileage, and points. If you then think about getting the benefits from them, simply wisely utilize your card. The most basic kind of benefit associated with using credit cards is cashback. In this case, they reimburse you for a portion of the total amount that was charged to your card. If you travel regularly, mileage rewards will typically provide you with cheaper flights as well as an extra incentive for paying with a credit card. The third incentive is points, which credit card companies will award you when you fulfill specific requirements, which are typically connected to spending thresholds. The points can then be exchanged for cash. In general, the wealthy utilize credit cards to obtain financial benefits. If you use them properly, you may do the same. The sixth strategy is to take advantage of low-interest loans. Loans or debts are used effectively by the top 1%. They typically search for debts that they can readily repay and have cheap interest rates. They also don't borrow money to buy consumables. Instead, they borrow money to make investments in their company and create long-term prosperity. In order to do more than they could have with their own funds, they capitalize on debt as an advantage. In order to avoid incurring credit card debt, people borrow money to acquire assets rather than liabilities. You need to be able to distinguish between good and bad financial obligations like debts or loans if you are hoping to handle finances like the top 1%. Debts that help you acquire assets in greater numbers and amass wealth are considered good debts, while those that cause you to incur obligations or liabilities are considered bad debts. The seventh strategy is putting extra money into personal growth. The top 1% invest heavily in their own personal growth, which is one of the most significant investments they make. The top 1% are concerned with the cost of self-improvement because they understand that the benefits outweigh it. In addition to reading every day, at least on a regular basis, they attend training courses and seminars. They have an endless appetite for knowledge and are naturally interested. They provide all facets of their lives, including their social life, finances, businesses, and spirituality. They take advantage of audiobooks when they got no time for books to read. You must be prepared to follow in the footsteps of the 1% if your goal is to work your way up to the richest 1%. At this point, you are now fully aware of the possibilities. Now I hope you guys learned some useful information from this video. We appreciate you for staying till the end. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Kindly click the like, subscribe, and notification bell icons. If you think this video will help you in your future financial decisions, visit our channel for more financial knowledge, building your wealth, and investment tips and tricks videos that you don't want to miss out. Have a great day and see you in our next video.